I have two kids, 11 and 5, and I think it's very challenging. But I work with my husband, who's here, who actually produced Beauty Culture. I don't know if we'll get a chance to.
I would like to show
that clip.
It's a short clip.
Yeah, it's a short
clip. Right before we leave.
It was actually the first time we worked together in that capacity, and that was the most challenging because we were both completely involved in it. And normally, I would say that the way we kind of do it, or the way it's possible for me, is because we can kind of trade off, and he is really kind of a rock there for the kids. But I think it's challenging, and you know, I think that the two kind of things that make it possible is before I had a baby, there was a director of photography at U.S. News and World Report who had a child as a single mom, and I said, how can you do this? Is this possible? And I remember before I had a baby, I asked people like Donna Ferrato and women who did it, like, how is it possible? Because it doesn't seem possible in the life that we lead. And she said, you have to kind of accept that you're not going to be the primary caregiver. And so I kind of went in, like you said, you know, that's your life, kind of knowing that this was not going to be a normal life.
And made peace with it.
And made peace with it. I mean, this weekend my son said something about, it was so great to spend the day with you, and you know, you're not there enough. So it's like, now he's 11 and you can tell me, and you have to like negotiate those things. But we do both work at home, and I think I grew up with a working mom, and I think the kids do get something out of that too. And I'm cutting a film right now, and my son was in the edit room right before I took it to the Sundance Lab, and we looked at it. He said, can I come in and look? And so he started taking all these notes during the film, and afterwards I said, well, you go first because it's going to be our bedtime. And one of the things he said was, why do you have that baseball scene twice? And I was like, what are you talking about? You know? And then my editor was like, we better look at that again. And the same shot was in there twice. And he saw, so I think that, you know, it is kind of that, you know, it is an unusual life, and not everybody is comfortable with it. And, you know, I'm sure, you know, we definitely live in a culture where, when I went to China on assignment when both kids were 10 weeks old, and I remember feeling more comfortable in China than here, because here there's a lot of judgment about leaving a 10-week-old baby. And in China, it's pretty normal. So I think we do have to kind of live with the fact that, you know, the other moms are in the school all the time, and you can't take on going on the field trip, and, you know, try to figure out how to make that okay. The one other thing I want to say is that I think for documentary filmmakers, because I think it's important to be honest with people about this, is you do have to be able to make enough money to do that as a woman. That to be able to be on a documentary and to be able to be on call for your subjects, because your life is not your own, you have to have coverage. And whether it's your mother or your partner or a nanny, you have to be realistic about that. And I think that's the part that can be hard in photojournalism and documentary, is to be able to kind of create that structure for yourself.
Yeah, Skype is journalists, war correspondents, the females that are out there doing it. Absolutely, I think you do have to look at that head on and don't pretend that it's going to be something different than what it is.